Now we are joined by Mr. Olalekan Oni. He's the Director of Media, Osun Renewal Drive. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Olalekan.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Pre-election, we spoke to you, and this is post-election. I quickly like to ask you, from your own view, how was the election?
Well, as far as we are concerned, the election was very peaceful, and to an extent, it was free and fair. If I say to an extent, what that means is that it is not 100% free and fair, but it was largely peaceful. And then the APC in Australia has come out to say that we are reviewing the elections, we are reviewing the documents, and what have you. So, as of this morning, the APC and the campaign council in Osun State are yet to make a final decision on the outcome of the election.
Now, when you say the elections were peaceful or was peaceful, there are some who argue to say you can't call an election that recorded death of people prior to the election a peaceful election, because election doesn't always start on election day. It begins right from campaign grounds, even into the election day. So when you say the elections was largely peaceful, but there are those who lost their lives before election, those from your party and from even other parties as well.
Well, first of all, let me commiserate and then sympathize with the families who lost their loved ones. And I've always maintained that election or campaign is not worth the blood of anybody. So commiserate and sympathize with those who lost their lives. But for us, and as politicians, what you have before elections are campaigns. Elections will always only take place just in a day. So what we had before August 15 were campaigns. You can also call them pre-election. Election proper took place on the 15th of August 2023. So if you look at that day very well, considering what we've been having before the election, a lot of people thought that the day will be bloody, it will be characterized with a whole lot of violence, a whole lot of skirmishes, chaos, and all of that. But if you compare what we had on the August 15 on the election day itself with what we've been having, everybody will agree that that election day, August 15, was very largely peaceful, because we had, if I can remember vividly, probably we had maybe one or two violences across the 3,763 or 62 polling units across the state. So if you have such a great percentage of peace in all polling units and across over 90 or 95% of polling units across the state, if you have such peace, then you can say that it's largely peaceful. Pre-election, campaign time, highly chaotic, violence everywhere, and all of that. But the election itself was very, very peaceful.
All right. Now, do you and your party agree to the results of the election? Your party has said you're going to consult with your lawyers and examine all of the numbers and how the election went. At this moment, does your party now agree with the election results, and do you as well accept it? You were on ground. You were there in Osun State.
I have responded to that. My first response here was that up to until now, the party is there to take a final position on the outcome of the election. So it is until the party itself speaks, takes a final stand, that's when we will say that we've agreed or we are yet to agree. But as it stands now, as I speak this morning, we are yet to take a final stand or a final position on the outcome of the election. So we are waiting. Hopefully today, tomorrow, anytime the DG has spoken, the candidate himself, Asiwaju Bola Oyebamiji, have also spoken. And if you have read their press releases, if you have listened to what they have said, they are yet to take a final stand on it. They're still reviewing. The window is still open. I think we still have, the party has 90 days or so, to do whatever we want to do, whether we go to court or accept the outcome. So there's still time, and there's no reason why we should rush into taking a final stand or into concluding whether we will agree with the results of the declaration of INEC or not. So we are waiting. There's no reason to rush.
But ahead of what your party stands, one of your party chieftain, Farouk Aliyu, has argued that the party lost the governorship election largely because of its own internal problems. I'll take you to that moment where Aliyu made all of this comments, and then I'll come back to you.
There's a lot of internal wranglings amongst our members, in Osun State. There are people who are not happy with our candidate, which is true. Some people were happy with the candidate. So in terms of choice of candidate, probably that's what we have to look at to make sure that probably the person who has the largest followership amongst the party members is put up for election. Because certainly some members of our party did not do what they're supposed to do, because out of anger, really. They didn't like our candidate, so that's the major problem internally that we had. It's amongst us. So this, to me, APC defeated itself in Osun State. Certainly, that's what happened.
That's one of your party members, chieftain of the APC, Mr. Olalekan. Do you agree to what he said when he says that the party has its own internal problems? That's why they were defeated at the polls in Osun. And then that your party also had, or some members of your party had problems with the candidates of Oyebamiji that you fielded for the just concluded elections. What do you say to all of this?
In every party, there are always internal wranglings. People have come out with different comments, just like we said in our introductory message, that people have had opinions. A lot of people have said one thing or the other. Up to yesterday, people will say, a lot of people will say, and the reason why we have that is because, we lost, at least as of now, as of this morning, we lost the election. Can you imagine if we had won? All of these commentaries coming, all of these negative commentaries will not be coming. Everybody will be praising the party chieftains, those who made decisions in Osun and all of that. So people have come out to say a whole lot since the election, a whole lot. And people who had no idea of what even happened in Osun, people who have never even stepped their foot in Osun State ever, have said a whole lot of things. But I see it as, because you see in life, once you lose, everybody comes to say whatever they want to say. And that's why it is truly, and to an extent, there are internal wranglings. And there are internal wranglings everywhere. Even within the Accord party that seemingly won, everywhere. There are internal wranglings everywhere. It's about interest. I think almost 14 or 15 or 16 people contested at the primaries, and one candidate will be chosen. Not one candidate will emerge. Let me use the word emerge. So when you have that, out of the rest, some will say that they were cheated, some will say, and that's how politics is everywhere. So when you have that, you will not. So there are internal wranglings. Nobody can deny that, but I disagree that we lost because of internal wranglings. Some have also made some commentaries that some party chiefs, betrayed the party and then worked for the Accord party and a whole lot of things and all of that. But like I said, it was because we lost. If you had won, nobody would have said that, all of these things and that. And then on the choice of the candidate, I vehemently disagreed. I totally disagreed that the choice of the candidate. You said I was on ground, so I followed the campaigns. I was everywhere with the campaign trail and all of that. And we saw how people trooped out. I don't know how people see it that 444,815 or 851, it was a small figure in an election in Osun State. So if you had such figures, and then people say that Osun State people did not like our candidate, We've never had such figure in past elections. Go and check the records. We've never had such figures. So if we had such figures in this election, that's a feat. I keep saying it. That's a huge number of votes. 444,850 or 851. I can't remember exactly. So the fact that people say, or when people say that the candidate, some have said that the candidate wasn't popular. Some have said that the candidate wasn't accepted. How else? How else will a candidate be accepted with such figure? We go to campaigns, people troop out, we met, we canvassed, we mobilized and did all of that. And people were coming out. So all of these commentaries, especially the negative ones, are coming because seemingly, for now, we can say because the APC lost. If he had won, people won't be saying all of these things. So that's my take on that.
So before the elections, did your party or did you have issues with the candidate of choice? Talking about the person of Oyebamiji now. Were there concerns as to why or the reason for the particular choice that was made?
No, I said earlier, in any political contest, before the primary as well, we had a political contest. You had, people who contested at the primaries against Oyebamiji. And definitely, Oyebamiji emerged. And definitely, one candidate would have emerged.
But do you have a problem with the candidacy of Oyebamiji? Do you have a problem with that?
I personally?
Yes.
No, I never had. I never had any problem with the candidacy of Oyebamiji.
So you fully support Oyebamiji?
Yes, I did. Even up before the primaries. And the truth of the matter is that, you see, those who were saying that, pushing one particular candidate, there's a particular candidate that was pushing. I told people that because of the baggages that candidate or that aspirants there, before the primary, you call them aspirants. Because of the baggages that aspirants had, APC will make a mistake in giving that person a ticket. That person has an history, precedence of a whole lot of things before now, allegations here and there, and all of that. So if the APC had given that person, it would have been easier for the opposition party, probably the other parties, to even come against him, to campaign against him. Oyebamiji have been in the public sector in Osun State for 12 years, since 2012. Their court party never had one single allegation against him. One. Somebody who has been the general manager, and he was managing money. Commissioner for Finance twice. No baggage. No financial misappropriation of one kobo. He even said it at the campaign, that the current administration has to search the books, did a lot of investigation. They couldn't find one thing against him. Somebody who was the commissioner for finance twice, and he headed Osun State Investment Corporation Limited before he became the commissioner for finance. So I never had any issue with the candidacy of Oyebamiji.
But there are also suggestions to say that the presidency did not also back the candidacy of Oyebamiji.
That's fallacy. That's heresy. Let's do away with that. That's not true. It's not true. It's false. It's a lie in its entirety.
But do you believe that if another candidate aside Oyebamiji was fielded for this election, your party would have won landslide?
No, I do not believe.
So you're
saying
there
was never a problem with the candidacy of Oyebamiji. Never a problem. Experience, capacity. What else?
Not for presidency, not for party members?
For party members, empathy, kindness, whatever qualities you are looking for in a candidate, Oyebamiji ticked all the boxes. So there was never an issue with the Oyebamiji candidacy anyway, with the people, with the presidency and all of that. Never a problem. Never.
Okay. But now that your party
lost, anybody says.
Yeah, but now that your party lost and the Accord party emerged to re-elect Governor Ademola Adeleke now, before your party stance comes in with, after consulting with your legal team and all, Is your party, and are you ready to work with the current administration to make Osun State a better state?
We cannot answer that question yet until we agree, until we have a final
I'm going by your
stand, a
words. You
final
said there
decision.
is still time to look at all of that. For now, your party accepts the result
That final
until
decision might come. The final we have not accepted. If you have accepted, we'll have released the statement. That's what I said. We are yet to take a final stand. We are yet to take a final stand.
So before
So
your
you
final
cannot say
stands
we've
come in, you're not
agreed.
ready to work with Governor Ademola Adeleke?
You cannot say there is no work yet now. Today is still how many days after the election? Today is still August 20. That's 5 days now. So
He's
which work
already
have we
received
done?
certificate of return.
That's certificate now. Do you know how many governors who have received certificate of return in Nigeria and the court started them? As it is, election has not even finished. Because if you say that you're going to court, post-election, you have the tribunal, you have the appeal court, you have the Supreme Court and all of that. So as far as that election is concerned, the election has not finished. It's still a going concern.
But the allegations
As far as the election is
your
concerned.
party went, the allegations that there was an attack on Ademola's convoy yesterday when he went to pay a visit to the monarch.
You've not read the press. You are yet to read the press release of the police.
But the
They were the
allegations
ones
to say
attacking themselves.
there were allegations to say that your
Police
party's
doesn't
hand
make
is also
allegations.
involved.
Police doesn't make allegations. Police already came out with a press poll.
I did not say the police are alleging. I said there are allegations.
Then it's frivolous. If the police has come out with a press release and the allegations, whatever police has released as their security agency in the state is superior to any allegation. It's superior to any allegation. So whatever allegations they make against our party is baseless and frivolous.
All right.
Everybody should read what the police said.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Oni, in 2023, the APC did not win in Osun State. And just now that the elections have been concluded, your party did not also win, despite the influx of governors and highly placed APC members, who were part of the campaign. What do you think that communicates, from people in Osun State? Do you think it's perhaps a rejection of the party in power to say they are not happy with what is happening?
The word rejection here in Australian election or by the people, I do not think or I do not agree that the word rejection should be used. The party that polled 444,000, the party that polled 444,815 votes is rejected. Let's not forget also that, let's run a quick history. After the general elections in 2023, there have been 19, or I can't remember now. There have been a whole lot of, what do we have to say? A whole lot of by-elections. Governorship, I think we've had it. And then we've had 19 state house of assembly, house of national assemblies, and all of that together. And APC has won over 75% of these elections. And then Osun State as well. So if these Osun States, if you had figures, maybe like 200 and something or 100 and something thousand votes in that election, probably you will have used the word rejection for the APC. But with that figure, we're highly accepted. And people came out for the APC to have such figures. So for the 2027 general elections, there is no cost for around.
But I'm asking because this is said to be the ancestral home of Mr. President. Is he not worrying that he's not commanding a large following from that particular
444,815. 444,815. I think I need to keep echoing that figure.
But what stops you from winning? You didn't win.
But it's a contest. In a contest, only one winner will emerge. Or have you seen where two winners emerge in a contest? And you can still not say that we have not won. Let's get to court and come back. It's still part of the electoral process. You want to
Are you
rule out
confirming to us,
court
Mr.
cases
Oni,
in
that
our
Mr.
electoral process?
Oyebamiji is taking the case to court?
We have said severally on this program this morning that you await the final decision. Let's wait for the final decision before you can say whether you are going to the court or probably their court party won. You know? So
All
let's
right.
wait.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed and we're waiting whatever decision
Yes.
that may be. But thank you so much for your time and for your thoughts on the
Thank you
program
too.
this morning. Mariam.
Thank you.